ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ。高原義に異人無国如善妙無用当社日月間に主公遠慮開始のんぺ有脈樹木如来予言調整無輪小学大音コールジポ開門精進三昧知恵意徳無量主生慶人体前年諸仏法界愚人人の不合外体無明欲ぬ世尊用無人の死死人徳無量空君広大知恵人妙光明一層振動大戦願が差仏最小法を可動生じ未不下脱不正上位解任生じ如是三昧知恵以上五世特仏不行志願一切空空一切大安慶始有仏百千億万無量大小衆女語者供養一切使徒諸仏無尿具道見性不逆異尿語者小分世界無不可け無種節道光明師匠変死諸国如是精進異人難量量が差仏国土第一五種奇妙道場超絶 国女内音みむとそがとあいみんどうだいさいじぽらいしょしねんしょじょいとがこけらくあんのんこぶんしみょぜがしんしょおっがのひりきしょしょよくじぽせそんちえむげじょりょしそんちがしんよけりょしんし食読中が行精進忍術不けなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶなまんだぶがんにしくどくびょうどうせいさいどうほんぼだいしんおうじょうあんなこナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ、ナマンダーツ。Please join me in Gassho. I vow to become a Buddha equal to you, the most honored king of the Dharma, and to bring sentient beings from birth and death to the final attainment of emancipation. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandats, 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 namandats. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first Sunday service for the month of April. It's looking very beautiful outside. despite the fact that in today, Sunday, and Monday, we will have some rain, April showers. But lately, it's been very bright, very beautiful. The days are getting longer, and it's starting to become light outside at around 6:50 a.m. So it's easier for me to get up in the morning. In fact, even around 6 o'clock, there's starting to be some light outside. So it's easier for me to get up out of bed. And of course, my cat is nagging me to feed him. And it's really easy for me to start the day and drink some coffee, get my day started. And then looking out in the backyard, seeing the beautiful flowers and blossom and the light coming up. And it's just a wonderful feeling. And it's very different from how I was feeling when it was wintertime and it was dark all outside all the time, and it would get dark early, and I would want to stay in bed, not get up. And it kind of reminded me when I was actually in Japan, and I would sometimes have to wake up really early in the morning during the wintertime there, especially owing to the fact that in our tradition of Nishi Honganji, we commemorate Hoonko in January, right? So, oh man, even then, like getting up at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, it's really cold outside. But now it's much easier to get up. It's much easier to appreciate the day, to appreciate all the green around us. It's a wonderful feeling. So I wanted to talk today about the Gosandai I just quoted. And once again, from time to time, I like to revisit some of the things that we're chanting, as well as sharing personal anecdotes or things that go around in our daily lives. But as we all know, one of the most common chants that we chant in Jodo Shinshu is Sambutsuge. And why do we chant this? This chant comes from the larger sutra, and it is chanted by Bodhisattva Dharmakara when Bodhisattva Dharmakara meets Lokesh Vararaja. Can you say that, Dharma School kids? Lokesh Vararaja. And when Bodhisattva Dharmakara is still only a bodhisattva, so not yet enlightened, this meeting between the two encounters this inspiration within Bodhisattva Dharmakara. So once again, reading the text of the sutra or of the Sambutsuge, Bodhisattva Dharmakara says, I vow to become a Buddha equal to you, the most honored king of the Dharma, and to bring sentient beings from birth and death to the final attainment of emancipation. So once again, this is a segment that is really, really important for our tradition, because this is when Bodhisattva Dharmakara tells Lokesh Vararaja that I am going to become a Buddha. I am going to also become a Buddha equal to you. And I'm going to save all sentient beings from this world of samsara, from this world of birth and death. And this is very similar to the story of Shakyamuni Buddha. As we all know, in April, we celebrate our Hanamatsuri. I'm not going to talk about Hanamatsuri too much, but once again, this is a time where the Buddha is born and comes to this world of samsara. And the whole purpose of the Buddha coming to this world of samsara is to save all sentient beings from the sufferings of this world, from the sufferings of samsara. And Bodhisattva Dharmakara also makes this resolve. And this is why I feel like this is really, really important. This is a tale of inspiration. And I know I've talked about inspiration here before, but as the weather gets better and as the sun comes out more and as we have this sort of renewal of the season within spring, I think it's a wonderful way for us to feel another feeling of inspiration or a feeling of resolve. So I ask this question going back to January. What were your New Year's resolutions? And how are you feeling about them? So usually what ends up happening for a lot of us when we have these New Year's resolutions is we make the resolve that we're either going to save more money, or we're going to eat healthier, we're going to work out more, we're going to go to temple more often. And so sometimes what ends up happening is we want to accomplish these things so hard. In fact, it seems like we want to complete the tasks of what we set ourselves to do so badly that it's like we want to get these tasks over and done with in the first month of January when the new year begins. Then what ends up most likely happening is we as people kind of burn out and we get tired, and this kind of newfound energy to start fresh a new year kind of like dies down a little bit. And so then we kind of get tired, we start eating those things we probably shouldn't eat, or we don't go to the gym as often, or we kind of say, oh, maybe I won't go to temple, or I won't go to our Zoom service this weekend. I'll go the next time it's offered, right? We start to kind of internally start taking things for granted, and we start to kind of drop off a little bit, and we start to, and for lack of a better words, succumb to a little bit of laziness. And remember, I say we because I myself am just as guilty of this feeling as any one of you as well. So once this happens, right, we kind of might get into a little bit of a funk. But then as the weather around us starts to get better, maybe we start to feel this new sense of inspiration of, oh, maybe I should start going to these things more often, or maybe I should get back on that diet that I thought that I was going to work hard on so much. And these kinds of resolutions are human resolutions, okay? So eating healthier, spending less money, or being smarter with money, or going to temple more often, all those things, making more time for myself, try not to work as hard, or at least try not to kill myself while working. All of these things. These are human resolutions. And once again, when we come back to the realm of the Dharma, or listening to the Buddha Dharma, we realize that Bodhisattva Dharmakara's vow was a Bodhisattva vow, was not just a human resolution, but a resolution to benefit all sentient beings, to provide us with guidance, to provide us with hope, to provide us with a light towards the Dharma. And so with this in mind, I don't expect all of us, I don't expect any of us, even myself, to make these bodhisattva vows, to do these 10 kalpas of hard practices. So Bodhisattva Dharmakara did hard practices through 10 kalpas, and which again means long amounts of time, long amounts of countless lifetimes. All these practices to become Amida Buddha, to create a Pure Land for all of us to be born into after we die, to become instantly enlightened, instantly awakened, and then instantly come back to this world to guide us to the Pure Land. So in our normal everyday lives, we can definitely take inspiration from this story. And it's not that I expect us to do the exact same thing that Bodhisattva Dharmakara did. No. But we can definitely take inspiration knowing that like the Buddha and Bodhisattva Dharmakara, they resolved to help end the suffering of all sentient beings. They resolved to, in a sense, become awakened to the truth of this life, to help others become awakened to the truth of this life as well. And with that in mind, we can go and continue to live our daily lives as best as we can. I think sometimes we in our society, or in our culture, or in our minds, sometimes feel like we have to solve all the world's problems, or that we have to make some type of a gigantic, enormous difference. And I'm not saying don't, right? I'm not saying don't join a cause. If you join a cause that's humanitarian in nature and wants to help people, do it. Because you should, and we should. We live in this global community. We live just in the local community around us. We need lots and lots of help. We all have to do our part. But also, I think sometimes we set these unreasonable expectations for ourselves. If all of it, we sometimes think to ourselves, if I don't change the world with a flick of my finger, then I failed. I'm a failed. There's no purpose to doing anything. This is not true. This is not true at all. This is why I think April is such a good month, because the season changes and the light becomes brighter, and it's not too hot, it's not too cold. And in this time, it represents almost a perfect balance that kind of, in my personal opinion, resembles the Buddha Dharma. We definitely need to have a balance of helping the community around us, but also continuing to self-reflect within inside of us as well. Now, the Buddha and Bodhisattva Dharmakara, or Amida Buddha, they did much hard practice and did lots of experimentation with the various practices to internally awaken themselves and then helped the world. And now we as regular ordinary beings, we don't have to do that. We don't have to go through these long, arduous tasks. We can actually get on the ground and help now too. We can also help our fellow communities or our global communities. We can also definitely educate ourselves, but also at the same time take care of ourselves. This is, in a sense, the middle way, which is what the Buddha taught. So April, it has come for us, and the spring is sprung, and it's become more and more apparent. Our time here is continuing to move forward, and when we think about it, oh my gosh, we are already past the first quarter of the year. I can't believe it. Where has time gone? I don't have time for things. I don't have time for things anymore. And of course, with the Buddha Dharma as our guide, and with the benevolence and wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha to aid us in our lives, in our present day lives now, we can continue living this life as best as we can to deeply listen to the Dharma, and then using that as an inspiration of how we interact in our everyday lives. So thank you all very much. And now that we are in this month of April, and I think that in many cases, I think the Dharma is definitely on all of our minds. Let's use this opportunity to delve deep sometimes within the teachings and read some of the texts. What does it say? How does it feel? How does it reach you? And how does the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara resolving to become a Buddha to save all sentient beings, how does that play for you? How does that make you feel? Think about it. And we will continue this journey together. So thank you all very much for joining me today and on YouTube for our Sunday service. I sincerely look forward to the day that we can all gather here at the temple again on these sunny days and see the light coming through the stained glass windows here at the temple. It's definitely going to be a little bit of a process, but I think that we will definitely get there. So until I can meet you all again in person, please stay safe. Please continue to practice safety precautions in terms of the pandemic. And as always, most importantly, say the Nembutsu. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandats, 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 namandats.